Have you ever wondered why, in a world full of specialists and advanced medical technology, we still rely so deeply on general practitioners? Some people think of them as basic doctors, the ones you see only before being referred to a specialist. But is that really true? Or could it be that their role is far more essential than most of us realize? Or let me put it another way. Did you know that in many countries, up to 80% of all first medical visits are handled by general practitioners? That means the vast majority of health concerns, whether physical, mental, or even social, are filtered, interpreted, and cared for by this one profession. Isn't that surprising? When I first read that data, I couldn't help but rethink my own assumptions about the medical system. Hello everyone, my name is Mr. X9, founder of the knowledge ecosystem, The Way Home, a journey of 36 YouTube channels, each one a doorway into a new world of learning, discovery, and inspiration. Together, we explore professions not just as jobs, but as windows into the meaning of life. Today, our topic is General Practitioner, Income, Pressure, and the Path to Practice. So what exactly does it mean to be a general practitioner? At its simplest, it means being the first point of contact for almost every kind of medical concern. When people feel pain, weakness, or anxiety, they often turn to a GP first. But the role goes beyond taking blood pressure or writing prescriptions. It requires sharp diagnostic skills, deep empathy, and a strong sense of responsibility. A GP is like a gatekeeper to the healthcare system, but also like a companion who walks with you through the ups and downs of health. Some might ask, why would someone choose this career when specialist doctors often earn higher incomes and receive more prestige? The answer is complex. For many GPs, the reward isn't only financial, it's relational. They build long-term connections with patients, sometimes caring for 3 or 4 generations of the same family. I believe this continuity, this human connection, is what makes the profession meaningful. What about you? Would you value that over prestige? But of course, income matters. So how much does a GP actually earn? Depending on the country, general practitioners may earn less than specialists, but often more than the average worker. For example, in the US, the average GP income is around $230,000 per year, though it varies widely by region and workload. Yet when you compare it with the years of education, training, and the heavy responsibilities, many feel the compensation is still not proportional. Isn't it interesting how society often undervalues those who hold the broadest responsibilities? This leads us to another point: the pressures. What kind of pressure does a GP carry on their shoulders? Imagine this. A patient comes in with vague symptoms: fatigue, headaches, anxiety. It could be something minor, or it could be the first sign of a serious illness. The GP has to decide whether to reassure the patient, prescribe something simple, or order more tests. A single mistake could have major consequences. And yet, they must make these decisions dozens of times a day. I think this constant uncertainty is one of the hardest parts of the profession. Have you ever thought about how much invisible weight your doctor carries? Beyond clinical decisions, there's the emotional burden. Patients often come in not only with illnesses, but with fears, frustrations, or even anger. A GP must remain calm, compassionate, and professional, even when they are exhausted themselves. Many doctors experience burnout from this emotional labor. I feel that society rarely acknowledges this side of medicine. We often see doctors as strong, almost invincible, but they too are human, fragile, and in need of care. So what does the path to becoming a GP look like? It usually involves years of study: pre-med, medical school, residency, and often additional training in family or community medicine. By the time they begin practicing, most GPs have dedicated over a decade of their lives to learning, and yet the learning never stops. Medicine changes constantly, and GPs must keep up with new research, technologies, and treatment guidelines. To me, this shows incredible resilience and lifelong dedication. Then comes the question of balance. How does a GP balance work and life when their days are filled with patients, paperwork, and emergencies? Many say they struggle to find time for their own families. I can imagine that being both a healer for others and a parent or partner at home must feel like living two full lives at once. Do you think you could manage such a balance? Despite all this, why do so many still choose to become general practitioners? Perhaps it's because, deep down, this role offers a sense of purpose. They are the first line of defense, the ones who know their patients not just as medical cases but as whole people. I think that's why patients often say, "My GP knows me better than anyone else in the medical system." And that trust, that bond, is priceless. What's also fascinating is how GPs influence entire communities. They don't just treat individuals. They often guide public health efforts, educate people about prevention, and help families make healthier choices. Think about it. One doctor advising one family to adopt better habits could ripple out to impact an entire neighborhood. Doesn't that feel like quiet, powerful leadership? As we move deeper into the picture, let's ask, what happens when a GP becomes more than just a doctor, but a trusted advisor in life? Patients often confide about stress, family conflicts, or financial worries. Though the GP's training is medical, their presence as a listener becomes therapeutic. I think this reveals something profound, that health is never just about the body. It's about the whole human experience, and the GP stands right at that intersection. Another important aspect is prevention. Have you noticed how often people go to the doctor only after a problem arises? Yet general practitioners emphasize prevention, vaccinations, screenings, lifestyle guidance. These may not sound glamorous, but they save countless lives. Imagine catching high blood pressure early and preventing a stroke years later. To me, this is one of the quiet miracles of the profession. But can a GP truly keep up with everything? From minor infections to chronic diseases, from mental health issues to social determinants of health? This breadth of responsibility is both their strength and their challenge. They must know enough about many fields to make good decisions, but also recognize when to refer to a specialist. It's a delicate balance, almost like being a bridge between the patient and the vast landscape of modern medicine. Without that bridge, many would feel lost. There's also the issue of trust. In some societies, people doubt doctors because of high costs or past scandals. A GP must constantly work to earn and maintain trust through transparency, humility, and integrity. I believe this is not just professional, it's deeply ethical. Trust, once broken, takes years to rebuild, but when nurtured, it becomes the foundation of healing. Have you ever felt a sense of relief simply because you trusted your doctor? We might also ask, how do GPs themselves stay healthy? It sounds ironic, but many doctors neglect their own health because of long hours and constant stress. Burnout rates among physicians are alarmingly high, with GPs among the most affected. This is a paradox. Those who dedicate their lives to caring for others often struggle to care for themselves. I think it's a reminder that even healers need healing. Perhaps society should do more to support the well-being of its caregivers. And what about the financial side? Does income match the pressure? As mentioned earlier, GP salaries vary, but many feel underpaid compared to specialists. Still, some argue that no amount of money can truly measure the value of saving lives and supporting communities. It raises a bigger question. How do we as a society decide what work is worth? If we valued care and prevention as much as flashy surgeries, perhaps GPs would be among the most honored professions. Let's consider their role in rural or underserved areas. In many regions, GPs are the only doctors available. They handle everything, from childbirth to emergencies, often with limited resources. This requires creativity, courage, and adaptability. To me, these doctors are unsung heroes. They embody the essence of service, showing that medicine is not just about technology, but about presence, humanity, and resilience. Another fascinating dimension is how GPs adapt to modern changes: telemedicine, AI diagnostics, digital health apps. Some worry that technology might replace doctors, but I see it differently. Technology can assist, but it cannot replace empathy, intuition, or human connection. A GP who embraces both science and humanity becomes even more powerful. Isn't it inspiring to imagine doctors of the future blending tradition with innovation? We can also reflect on the personal sacrifices. Many GPs spend evenings finishing paperwork, weekends catching up on reading, holidays interrupted by emergencies. Their families often share this burden. I feel deep respect for anyone who chooses this path, knowing it will demand not just their time, but their heart. Do you think you could make such sacrifices for the sake of others? Beyond the individual, let's look at the bigger picture. GPs contribute to public health policies, research, and education. They shape how entire societies think about health. A single GP advocating for vaccination or healthy eating can influence hundreds, even thousands over time. It reminds me that impact is not always about grand gestures, but about consistent, everyday actions. And yet, despite all this importance, the profession faces crises, shortages, burnout, declining interest among young doctors. Why? Perhaps because the income pressure balance feels unsustainable. Perhaps because prestige in medicine is still too skewed toward specialization. I think we must reimagine how we value GPs, not as basic doctors, but as essential pillars of healthcare. Without them, the entire system would collapse. So what lessons can we take from this profession? Maybe that true success is not always about glory or money, but about meaning. GPs remind us that being there for people in their most vulnerable moments is a priceless gift. They teach us that life is fragile, health is sacred, and compassion is powerful. Personally, I feel inspired whenever I think of the quiet resilience of these doctors. This brings us to a deeper spiritual reflection. In Buddhism, there is the concept of compassion, karuna, and wisdom, prajna, as two wings of the same bird. Without both, we cannot fly toward liberation. Isn't that similar to the GP's role? They must combine knowledge with empathy, science with humanity. In caring for patients, they also practice mindfulness, listening deeply, responding with presence, and accepting impermanence. Every illness reminds us of the fragility of life, but also of its preciousness. From this perspective, being a general practitioner is not just a career. It is a path of service. It aligns with the Buddhist teaching that to relieve suffering is one of the noblest acts. When a GP comforts a worried parent, eases a patient's pain, or guides someone through fear, they embody that teaching in real life. For me, that is profoundly moving. So, let's pause here and reflect together. Do you see health differently now? Do you feel more grateful for the quiet, steady work of general practitioners? Would you consider this path for yourself, or at least honor those who walk it? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. If you found this video meaningful, please like, share, and subscribe to the World of Careers, part of the ecosystem The Way Home. Your support motivates us to continue creating thoughtful content that explores not just professions, but the deeper values behind them. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Before we end, let me leave you with a small message. Health is not just the absence of illness, but the presence of balance, body, mind, and spirit. Care for it with mindfulness and compassion, and you will find not only longevity, but peace. Take care, and see you in the next video.